Yeah, definitely. But, as people come and as we have people living in town, that does go into the next goal, which is kind of managing the flow and the congestion, which is a really fun phrase. More boots and bikes, less cars, which I know is really been a big focus. Council has been really focused on this. And, what are some of the factors that you guys see playing into this, boots and bikes versus cars?
Well, there are a number of factors at play, and for every factor, there's a number of strategies that you have to do. And so, on one side, you could say, why are we building a parking structure? Why are we adding 400 spaces for 400 new cars in the core of town? And the goal is that when you have a structure and it's kind of becomes an iconic item, that people can go right to it. And people know that's where parking is, availability, and you cut down on the circulation, so you're actually lessening the amount of cars that are driving around looking for a parking space. And so that's the strategy. Now, certainly there's a balance between how many spaces you want to do, because you also want to get people out of cars.
Right.
And we call that travel demand management, and we work very closely at a local level, at a county level, and a state level, trying to deal with the traffic. All has to come up I-70, the majority of it coming into town, and what are we doing to promote ride sharing and carpooling and other modes of transportation that would get people. And with still the majority of cars that we see going down the road are single person occupied vehicles. And so how do we change that behavior, and what are the different programs? I mean, as a community, we have invested so much money in the last 4 years in our free ride transit system. Literally doubled the budget that it had 4 to 5 years ago. But we've seen great results from that, and it's uncommon. It would be uncommon if we didn't have 1 million riders a year, and we're just every month seems to be an increase in ridership, which is good. All of those people aren't in a car; they're in a bus, and so the council will continue to look at alternative modes of transportation, where there's transit. We're going to continue to look at different ways of getting people out of their vehicles. We try very hard to be a bicycle-friendly community. It's a little more difficult in those winter months, but we're seeing more and more of that happening. We try to do things to encourage it. And sometimes you have to make it harder for people to drive, because that's truly how you can change some behaviors. If you make it too easy, then sometimes it's the easy path to take. But we really try to work with our employees, our guests, our residents, and trying to come up with solutions. And this there's no silver bullet.
Right.
It's a lot of different strategies. You try to have small incremental successes, and for every 2 to 3% that you're able to impact, you get so many cars off the road. And so those are the strategies. And the more people we involve and work with us, the greater our chances will be.
And Lucy, from the tourism perspective, do you see this as kind of a trend statewide? People being encouraged?
I think nationally and globally.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody is looking at, we're terming it responsible tourism, like how to travel and fit into the culture that you're visiting a little bit better and be a little more local when you're there. And I think it's our job as tourism professionals to help people understand what that means. And it's different in every place. So here, like we've been talking about, not driving for a long time, but we're simplifying everything and having more concentrated messages. So like we're saying, no car, no problem. So here's all the ways, everything that Rick talked about, all the alternative forms, and it's really better to walk. It's beautiful. This is an athletic place. Yeah, it's small. So, but I do think it's our responsibility to help people want to do the right thing. They don't always know what that is. So we can just help them, show them how easy it is to do better